Hi, I'm Traviso'keefe. I'm the CEO of Nuku. Today I'm going to speak about 5 key elements to compete effectively on Amazon. Okay, the 5 factors to win on e-commerce via Amazon. The first thing is something called product listing. That's basically like your store, your online retail store or web page. That's your product listing on Amazon. The second thing, web traffic. Another way to say web traffic would be like your potential customers coming to your store. So that's another word. That's jargon, the word traffic of potential customers. The third thing is something called Amazon's algorithm, the A9 algorithm. That's an important software program that decides where you are ranked on. Are you on page 1 or page 2, page 3, page 4, or so forth? The algorithm, which is really important. We want to be ranked on page 1. And the reason why is most people don't go and search on page 2. Pay per click. This is another important thing. The easiest way to think of that in the traditional terms is it's just your advertising. You put your ad up, and you only pay when someone clicks on your ad to come to your product page or your product listing or your online store. The last thing that's really, really important is customer reviews. And customer reviews are a very important factor because that's what converts people into your product. I'm going to go deeper with each. I just want to give you a high level of that. So this is what a product listing looks like on a right-hand side here. It's where the customer goes to find out more information about your product. And an easy way to think of this is like your online store on Amazon. And there's some important factors inside the product listing. It's like a science to get right. For example, statistically, it's proven that if you have at least 7 photos, you convert higher than 6 photos or 5 photos or 4 photos like this guy has. He only has 4 photos. If he had 7 photos, he would convert higher. Why? Because unlike a traditional shop where you can go and touch and feel a product, well, you can't online. So what have you got to use to sell it? And it's your photos largely. So high quality photos and at least 7 helps the potential customer to decide whether to purchase your product. There's some tips with photos that I'll give you. There are 3. So the first photo is a great photo like the one that we've got here, which is our product surrounded by a white background. A tip for that is to have a look at everyone that's on page 1, on the page that you're on. Have a look at the angle that they've taken their photo and change your angle. Change your angle so that when it's on the same listing with everyone else's, it's actually stands out a little bit. And that's the first type of photo. The second type of photo, infographic photos. That's where you have the photo of the product and you have diagrams or graphic designs drawn on the product that call out and explain the features of your product. You know, the why the photo, what your product can do. And then the last type of photos are lifestyle photos. That's where you see your product being used in real life. And that's important so that the person who's looking at this storefront, this web page, can see themselves in their mind's eye using the product. So there's an example. That's just photos. There are bullet points. There are your headings to get right. And the bullet points, it needs to be descriptive. You can't, it's not as effective if you just have facts and figures. You need to use emotive language to encourage people to convey the emotions that they would experience in using your product. There's a whole science to this. So that's an example of your product listing. The next thing is web traffic. Remember, web traffic is the potential customers who are coming to your product listing. Broadly, there are 2 types. There are those people who are already on Amazon looking around at other products, and your goal is how do I get them to those potential customers come and check out my store, which is my product listing. So those are the traffic that's on Amazon. And if we use the analogy, Amazon is a supermarket, the platform, It's those people that are in the supermarket. How do I get them to come from aisle 4 over to aisle 2 to look at my product? Another way to put it. And then there's the other thing, which is the other type of traffic, which is traffic that's not on Amazon. So they are on people like on Facebook or Google or Instagram or YouTube or any other social media site. And how do you get them to come from that site, such as Facebook? They're scrolling through, they might see our ad. How do I get them from the ad over to come to our product listing page? So that's traffic, the two types of traffic. The third thing is Amazon's algorithm, which they label and call the A9 algorithm. This is a piece of software that decides where you rank, where your product listing or your store ranks. You want to be on page 1. If you're not on page 1, then you're unlikely to get majority of the sales, or unlikely to get a lot of traffic, organic traffic from Amazon. The algorithm is important. It changes all the time, and it's important to study it if you want to compete effectively in e-commerce, because we want to be on page 1. And how do we get there? And there are many different ways to get there, but this is one of the ways that we do it. So the algorithm, how it works is it looks at the leader on page 1, the first product. So when you type in whatever you're searching for, say fish skin chips, and it pops a listing, and then you have all the products, the first product that's listed there, the algorithm has pulled it up from all the many levels and then put it onto page 1. And it sells 100 units a day as in a scenario, a hypothetical scenario. Sells 100 units a day. So we've got our product, and when we launch our product, we're new. So we're on page 64, not page 1. But how do we spike our product to move straight from page 64 onto page 1? Well, one way to do that is to look at the 100 units that the top guy is selling. Then we can do a deep discount, some coupons for 101 coupons that we give away for 90% off. And then we give away those at 90% off for 8 to 10 days. And if we give it away for 8 to 10 days, what the algorithm sees is, hey, this product has sold 101 units, which is one more unit than the top guy. This product must be really hot and relevant. People want it. So then the algorithm takes us off page 64 and brings us all the way onto page 1. So that's just one technique or tactic to spike the algorithm and get onto page 1. The challenge, of course, is when you're on page 1 is staying there. And if you're not getting enough sales, then you drop off. And so it's a wasted effort. So there are a lot of different tactics. The other thing to note is the algorithm changes all the time. We've got 10 products that we launched on Amazon, and we launched some earlier on. And within the space of 3 months, the bloody algorithm changed. And things that we were doing, at the start of those 3 months now aren't as effective as they once were. So we've had to study that. We've had to learn and test different methodologies and approaches to learn about how to do things differently moving forward. So that's an example of it. And an example for launching, the algorithm changed, and the spiking the algorithm, which I talked about before, wasn't as effective. So what you have to do now is you have to do the coupon giveaways, plus you have to send traffic. So do a PPC campaign from somewhere else to your page slot. So that's just a small example. Okay, moving on to pay per click. This is another way to say advertising, and the key thing to understand here is you can show your advertising on the page, but you only ever pay if someone clicks on the button on your ad and goes to your product page. So that's pay per click. The last thing that's really important are customer reviews. Now, when someone goes into your product listing, the first thing that people do is they go and look at, once they've got past the photos and the description, they go and look at the customer reviews. And you get customer reviews come from people who have purchased your product and ranked it or rated it out of 5 stars. 5 stars being fantastic. And what happens is people go in and click into the customer reviews, which you can see here in this diagram, the 5 stars, and they will read those reviews. And then that'll influence the purchase decision, whether they purchase your product or not. So it's very, very important. We have a lot of reviews that are great. So that's another important factor. So in summary, if I go back, product listing, that's like your web store, the web page on Amazon. Web traffic, that's like your potential customers coming into the store. The algorithm is a piece of software that ranks our product listing or web store on page 1, 2, 3, or 4. Pay per click is advertising that we use to get more potential customers to come to our web store or our product listing. And customer reviews, once they're on our product listing, are the most important factor to converting them to purchase our product. So those are the 5 factors. Come back, I've got more videos, and I'll unpeel the onion. We'll go deeper into Amazon, and we'll learn some more tips. I'll give away some more tips.